Hope you enjoy listening to the story. After 5 years of marriage, my husband insisted on a divorce, saying he wanted to go on a journey alone. A year later, he said that his soul had been saved in Tibet and came back to find me to remarry. He said he wanted to have a child with me. I gently placed my hand on my slightly protruding belly and smiled shyly. Twins, you only want one. It doesn't seem right. In my current state, I probably don't want to give it to you. What? The string of beads in his hand fell to the ground. His skin was tan from being in Tibet for so long, making him look visibly older. When did you get married? I thought for a moment and then answered. Probably about 2 months after my divorce. He suddenly became angry. His fingers like steel clamps gripped my wrist, his eyes bloodshot. We have been together for 58 years. How could you so quickly fall into someone else's arms? I calmly withdrew my hand. Sorry, I don't know what the customs are in your place, but in my place, after a divorce, you don't have to remain faithful to your ex-husband. You did that to get revenge on me. Niambin said as if he had just experienced an internal tearing, then continued, Okay, now you go and have an abortion immediately. I will pretend nothing happened. I was amused by him. Niambin was really good. He always firmly believed that no matter how he treated me, I would not leave him. During the difficult startup period, he found the project too difficult, so in the middle of the night he packed his bags and wanted to go back to his hometown, but I sat at the train station all night, and it took a lot of persuasion before I agreed to return. When the company ran out of capital, he hid in the internet cafe playing games to escape reality, while I went door to door to apologize to the suppliers trying to save the company. Even the first time he proposed a divorce, saying that marriage was like a cage that imprisoned his freedom, I gritted my teeth and endured, thinking that it was just a phase where he was being frivolous. Over the years, he had gotten used to me always being by his side, taking it for granted. But he never thought that I would let go. Niambin and I were childhood sweethearts. When we registered for the university entrance exam, he secretly changed his application to the same school as me, then said, The capital is very cold, I'm afraid you'll get cold. Outside the window, the royal poinciana flowers were blooming bright red. The young man under the sunlight smiled brightly. I used to think that it was forever. After graduating, the two of us lived in a basement room to start a business. Memories of that time were filled with the smell of mold and instant noodles. On the harshest winter night, the floor pipe broke. I pulled him out of the flooded water with my nightgown. Both of us were soaked from the hallway. Niambin hugged my cold feet, breathing warm milk, his voice trembling. Baby, in the future I will definitely buy you a big house with a renovated foundation, hot water 24/7. I will not let you suffer like this anymore. That year we registered our marriage. To save money, we didn't even have a wedding. Later the company started to improve a bit, but he became more and more unhappy. He said he hated this 9-to-5 life. He was free by nature, liked to wander and drift. This kind of life made him feel like he was suffocating. To help him regain his spirit, I found a psychologist for him, gave him plenty of time to do what he liked. Fishing, climbing, hiking, going to the gym, I shouldered most of the company's work by myself. However, the last thing I received was a divorce petition. Who wants my wife to have an abortion? A man in a neat suit walked quickly over, gently supporting my waist, his shoes brushing past Niambin's feet, bringing a light breeze. Didn't I tell you to wait in the car? What if you tripped? Seeing the face of the person who just arrived, Niambin's expression immediately changed. You are Thuong Dien. Thuong Dien is the biggest competitor Niambin and I have ever met when starting a business. The young master who always says he doesn't want to inherit the family business and open his own company to be creative, and is lazy and willful on the outside, but has caused me to lose many times in the business world. Back then, every time I worked with him, I was always on guard, afraid that this young master would do something strange. At this moment, Thuong Dien lazily raised his head, his thick eyebrows slightly raised, revealing a sarcastic smile. Oh, so it was General Manager Niam. Only half a year without seeing you. How did you become like this? Back in the Sahara Desert digging coal. Just now I thought it was some old man standing on the side of the road pretending to be lost to beg for money. Yes, the UV in Tibet is really amazing. I coughed lightly. Thuong Dien's sharp tongue was so vicious that even I could hardly stop him. Niambin's eyes were glued to the custom-made cuff on Thuong Dien's wrist, his face turning from pale to white. That was our company's first product, something we had both stayed up all night to design, and yet it was in the hands of someone who used to be our sworn enemy. Niambin turned to look at me, his voice was tight, my face was about to turn dark. Could it be that the two of you had been seeing each other since before you and I broke up? Thuong Dien took a wet towel from the waiter's tray, gently wiping my wrist that Niambin had squeezed until it was red. Oh, I really wanted that, but unfortunately her moral principles were sky high. No matter how I gestured, I couldn't shake her. Every night I couldn't sleep because I missed her. He threw the tissue into the trash, then turned to smile at Niambin. Speaking of which, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you getting a divorce, I wouldn't have had the chance to marry her. When we had our wedding party, you were still in Tibet. I couldn't reach you. What a pity. But it's okay when the twins are a month old. I hope Uncle Niam will give me some face and come sit at the main table. Niambin stared at Thuong Dien and I, tightly clasping hands, and finally sat down on the ground, absent-minded as if he had lost his soul. As soon as I got in the car, I clearly measured Thuong Dien. Say it, why did you provoke him? Thuong Dien immediately calmed down and pretended to be pitiful. My dear wife, he lied to a married woman and even tried to force her to abort his 2 children. He was acting in self-defense. I glanced. Self-defense is not used that way. He laughed heartily. What my wife said is right. I'll let it go this time, but if he dares to come looking for you again, I won't let him off. I was tired and had a headache. He saw my face, his eyes drooped wider than usual. Wife, why are you still defending him? Kicked him. What do you mean I'm defending him? Do I look like the type to be abused? What? In his eyes, am I the type to abuse? Of course not. His eyes lit up, and he immediately rushed over like a wolf being stroked in the right place. His wife was the most sane woman in the world. How can you compare to me? Let me touch you. I've been going to the gym every day lately. He pulled my hand to his chest. Chest, is it firmer? And stomach, there are 8 bottoms. Want to count? I tried to pull my hand back. Okay, actor, don't be too excited. No, not too much. The more I talk, the more I exaggerate. I'm also focusing on strengthening my abs and back. I won't be out of breath when carrying you up and down the stairs. There was a click from the front seat, and the driver quietly lifted the partition. Just when I thought everything was over, Niambin caused a storm on the internet. He posted a long post under the name of his affectionate ex-husband's ID, accusing me and the actor of having an affair while we were still married, along with a series of visual evidence. For example, the blurry surveillance camera cutout, the scene of me and the actor shaking hands goodbye at the company was photoshopped to appear as an intimate arm around each other's shoulders. The photo of us having dinner with our partners at the start of the business was also edited into a secret date scene. At the end of the article, he even sent me a heartfelt message, saying that as long as I came back, he would not pursue the matter of the actor anymore, and was willing to accept all of my past. Lightly, I still love you like the first breath. Our feelings from when we were students until we entered society cannot be erased by a rich guy. Here I promise, I am willing to be the father of the 2 children in your belly, and raise them together with you. My feelings and Thuong Dien's were both touched by Niambin's sincerity. Under capitalism, you can do whatever you want. Poor honest man. Women are really crazy about rich men. The old friendship of living in the basement together is not as good as a villa and a supercar. Who knows, maybe she has been seeing the actor for a long time. The divorce is just to transfer assets. Think carefully about using yourself. After divorce you marry a competitor. It's obvious that there was a conspiracy. What's worth keeping someone like that, more beautiful than Lu Deep Phi? In no time, netizens dug up all my personal information. My life was torn to pieces and put under a microscope to examine every detail. The barefaced high school photo was criticized as a scheming green tea. The university certificate was suspected of being obtained based on an unspoken rule. The message box was filled with unreadable curses. Niambin went on livestream, looking miserable, saying he didn't want to hurt Thuong Dien anymore, then turned around and accepted an interview from a love blogger, implying that Thuong Dien used money to crush the love of ordinary people. Lying on the bed, I watched Thuong Dien slowly pick out bird's nest feathers, and couldn't help but poke the back of his hand. The communications director has called you dozens of times. If we don't handle it, the company's stock will plummet. You stuffed the soft, cooked bird's nest into a gold-rimmed bowl, stuffed it into my hand and stole a kiss. If it fails, it fails. At worst, we'll have to delist it and restructure. But if my wife is wronged, I will have to destroy the entire internet to feel satisfied. Let's eat first, then we'll see how I deal with that clown. Let him dance for another 17 minutes. Exactly 17 minutes and 9 seconds later, the official account of the Thuong T Group posted a reply. The first one was the inside of the divorce certificate between Niam Bin and I. The registration date was January 15th. The second one was the marriage certificate between Thuong Dien and I, dated April 1st. Netizens immediately exploded. As expected of the CEO of Thuong T, getting married on April Fool's Day, some people would really be a joke, ha 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 ha. But what really made the hotshot list explode was the video from the security camera in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau. In the video, I was holding the divorce papers, sitting down on the steps crying. The actor in a black suit suddenly appeared in the frame, his bony hand holding a cup of coffee, his voice clearly yellow. Hey, why are you crying over a loser? Normally, you're very strong in mind and courage compared to me. There are so many handsome men in the world, why are you sad? Oh, by the way, do you want to consider me? I guarantee he's handsome. The bell-shaped text below the actor's post was also attached. 74 days of chastity. Is it enough to erect a monument for her heartless ex-husband? Some netizens started to turn around. The process is so clear, now everyone can see that they got divorced and then got together. Divorcing for 3 months and then getting married again is completely legal and reasonable. Some people are jumping up and down, it's really funny. I never thought that the Iron Man in the business world would be a loyal puppy. I'm addicted to this pair. That surveillance video is as beautiful as a movie scene. Handsome men and beautiful women just like in the movies. Ha ha ha. In the video the general manager was talking softly, but in reality his pants were about to be crushed, ha ha ha. The general manager was hiding behind a cup of coffee, his hands trembling, but he still tried to act calm. It's true that the outside is hard and the inside is soft +1. The reaction when the boss chased after his wife, I can be addicted for 10 years. Of course, not everyone on the internet is convinced. Just kidding, obviously you need a divorce certificate before you can register your marriage. What does this prove? As soon as I walked out of the civil affairs office, the clerk was already there serving me water, and said it was nothing. I ate it with my head. Not long after the divorce I got married. Is this slapping myself in the face? Who knows, maybe it had been an affair for a long time. The divorce papers were just a cover to cover the eyes of the world. At that moment, Niam Bin's call came in. I turned on the speaker. You're wrong. I just watched that video. I didn't expect you to cry so much during the divorce. I shouldn't have left you alone. He was serious. Xiang Yan suddenly leaned closer to the phone and coldly interrupted. That video is the precious scene of me confessing to my wife. I asked someone to save it carefully. If you like it, I can ask my assistant to send you a HD version so you can watch it again every night. The other end of the line was silent for a few seconds. Then Niam Bin's somewhat fierce voice rang out. Thuong Dien, since when did you notice my wife? Thuong Dien snorted. Which wife? The one at the foot of the Patala Palace or next to the Jokhang Temple? Niam Bin's voice began to change. I don't understand what you're saying. Thuong laughed. Then try to remember, last New Year's Eve, when you knelt in front of a temple in Tibet praying with a woman. Is there a surveillance camera there? Brother. Niam Bin's scolding was interrupted. The only sound on the phone was the beeping sound. I asked curiously, how did you know there was a surveillance camera in that temple? Thuong Dien smiled slyly. I don't know, I was just threatening. I can't stand the way he keeps hovering around me. That's enough to scare him into a sweat and make him run away. After being busy for a while, I didn't have time to go and ruin her. I was helpless and bored, forgetting his style of behavior, which was always to surprise her. Okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. Thuong Dien pulled me up carefully, gently kissed my belly. Good children, sleep with mom. Dad will go deal with the bad guys who dare to bully mom. He gently closed the door. I heard him calling the BL director. Immediately investigate for me, see which marketing accounts are leading the public opinion. Don't miss any of them. Half an hour later, evidence showing that Niam Bin bought the buzz through marketing accounts was released. Niam Bin helped me push the keyword adultery to the top 3. Money is no problem. Marketing, Mr. Niam is really generous. Do you need me to push down the news about my girlfriend in Tibet? Niam Bin, what girlfriend, just for fun? Netizens were laughing. Holy shit, this guy is actually flirting with someone in Tibet. The sincere feelings turned into skin is just a show, but the transfer is real money. Yen Ping, I'm going to Tibet to save my soul. Soul, you should first go save your mind. Yen Ping did not expect that the image of a devoted ex-husband that he had worked so hard to build was rapidly collapsing. The drama team took the opportunity to release the second batch of evidence, Yen Ping's bank account statements for the 3 months before the divorce. He regularly transferred money to an account, at least a few million, at most hundreds of millions. Netizens followed the clues and found out that the account owner was a homestay owner in Tibet, fair-skinned, pretty. The account was full of intimate videos with a man suspected to be Niam Bin. When parking the horse, he hugged her waist. When standing in front of the prayer wheel, he bent down to adjust her scarf. There is another video. The man wearing a baseball cap looks straight into the camera, his voice full of emotion saying, "She is the one who makes my soul peaceful." The voice is almost identical to Yen Ping. Very quickly, Yen Ping angrily refuted netizens, saying that it was all a fake AI product to defame him, a trap set by capitalists, and announced that he would sue to protect his honor. But after many times of shouting, there was still no concrete action, but on the contrary, he took advantage of the rising popularity and started live streaming to sell products. That day, under Niam Bin's company building, the moving team's cars were parked everywhere. I sat cross-legged on his director's chair, thoughtfully flipping through the documents. Niam Bin stormed in angrily. "Longkin, are you crazy?" He was so bored that his veins popped out. His eyes stared at the closed file in my hand, his jaw clenched in anger. I picked up the melon transfer contract and leisurely said, "Literally, you owe the supplier 5 million. I paid for you, so now this company is mine." Niam Bin rushed forward to snatch it back, but I immediately pushed his hand away. "Where did the money come from? Whose money do you think I took? Is it joint property? What about the money you took to buy climbing gear after the divorce? When the company almost couldn't pay the employees, who was left to clean up the mess?" I threw the pile of bills at him. The papers fell to the ground, revealing the panic in his eyes. I pulled out a stack of screenshots of messages and dropped them at his feet. "When you used the company seal to mortgage your girlfriend's homestay online, did you think that this was a joint asset? Then later the creditors came to my house to demand money, and you played the victim." He stared at the pile of messages, his throat choked up and he couldn't speak. I immediately ended the fatal blow. "Oh, I forgot. Yesterday the shareholders meeting met and voted unanimously for me to return to take over the company. You're kicked out, General Manager Niam." Niam Bin sat down on the floor, his salary hitting the bookcase. The mountain climbing magazine fell down. The cover was a picture of him wearing sunglasses standing in front of a snowy mountain range. The headline was the same, "Freedom is not death." I slowly turned my chair, watching him fix his eyes on the best startup company in the world hanging on the wall, the title that I had stayed up all night at the company for 3 months to win. Outside the glass door, a chorus of cheers echoed. A series of employees holding red banners with gold letters walked in one after another. The banner clearly stated, "Warmly welcoming CEO Lam back." The little prince from the administration office handed me a warm cup of Americano, his voice professional. "General Lam, the new employee card you mentioned will be ready this afternoon." Niam Bin suddenly rushed over and hugged my leg, his voice hoarse from crying. "Contempt, I was wrong. Can we start over? You were the softest person before. How could you abandon our years of love?" I held him with my fingertips. Even though he was shabby, his eyes were bloodshot. He was no longer the boy who helped me save a seat in the library years ago. "So when you put the ring on another woman at Portaler, did you think about our 10+ years of love?" His pupils contracted, his throat twitched repeatedly, but he couldn't say a word. I let go of his hand and took out a photo from my bag of him sitting on a horse, hugging a woman tightly, smiling brightly. When he took the plan I had worked on all night and spread it out at the bottom of the tent like trash, did he ever think that it contained all my hard work? His lips trembled and he finally forced out a sentence. "It was an accident. Everything in the company is managed by you. I don't care." "Fine, let's talk about family matters." I squatted down and looked straight into his eyes. When his mother pointed at my face and scolded me for being a hen that doesn't know how to lay eggs, he hid in the hut and pretended there was no signal and couldn't hear clearly, which was also unintentional. Niam Bin was speechless but still stubborn. Contempt, it was all a misunderstanding, we can start over. Outside the office, the buzzing sound of a camera was heard. A financial channel reporter rushed in with a microphone. The camera cut away from the chaotic room. I smiled brightly. Yes, I am officially taking over this company. As for him, I pointed at him as he was being dragged away by security. He was scattering the fields, kicking over the potted plants on the tea table, looking like a loser. He said he wanted to pursue true freedom, so the company's affairs would no longer bother him. Mr. Kin turned to seriousness, and he stopped pretending, screaming and cursing. Lam Kin, you won't die a good death. You cruel woman. Damn, the sound of a door closing interrupted the cursing. After the office was cleaned up, I opened the employee handbook on the desk. The first page still contained the oath of office that Niam Bin had written when he started his business. Willing to use my youth to exchange for freedom, not to let down my brothers, not to let down my lover. I took out my lighter, the flame immediately engulfed the page. When the three words "not to let down my lover" shrank into "give" in the firelight, amidst the floating smoke, I seemed to see the same girl 10 years ago sitting in the basement eating instant noodles with him. I chuckled and casually threw the notebook into the trash can. After that, Niam Bin disappeared from everyone's sight for a while. I never expected that on the day of my twins and the actor's victory party, he would barge in with his lawyer. Behind me there was a big guy live streaming. His wrinkled suit covered his skinny body, but his eyes were full of excitement. With disdain I asked for a DNA test. Who knows, maybe those twins are my children. Thuong Dien was so angry that he wanted to punch him. He inhaled oxygen in Tibet, his brain flew away. They divorced last year. My son has nothing to do with you. The guests around started to whisper and gossip. Niam Bin's face was red, but he still rushed forward in front of the camera. You guys think that divorce is the end of it? We still have feelings, we still understand each other. Bang! A punch flies straight to his face. Thuong Dien shakes his red knuckles. If you say another bad word, I'll have you in the crime section of the newspaper tomorrow. Niam Bin held his nose and fell backwards, blood pouring out. The livestream camera shook violently. He lay on the ground screaming. Everyone watch. Acting like a thug. He is afraid of being exposed. Afraid that everyone will know he is wearing a green hat. Does he think he is so good at acting? Actually, I was fooled by Lam Kin. If you don't believe me, go get a DNA test. Then everything will be clear. Before she finished speaking, Niam's mother entered with a group of uncles and aunts. She held a loudspeaker in her hand, her crying sounding like it could break a chandelier. Lam Kin, you cruel woman. My child was ruined by you. Why are you so cruel? Before, I told you to pretend to be noble when you had children. Now that you sleep with a rich man, you can give birth right away. Don't you feel ashamed? You're not saying my son isn't as rich as that actor. It's my fault that this old woman doesn't have the ability. She doesn't let her son have a rich father like other people. Being bullied like this can't do anything. I can't live anymore. My life is too miserable. The merchant's face was as black as coal. He immediately blocked me. I signaled the nanny to take the twins out of the hall. I knew what Niam Bin was planning. His mother was a stubborn countrywoman. When I was her daughter-in-law, she was famous for being mean and spiteful. What a perfect time to bring her here to cause trouble. He thought it would make me lose face. I smiled faintly. In the past, Niam Bin always told me that his mother was just straightforward and had no ill intentions, and told me not to be too harsh, to be filial to my mother-in-law, and to fulfill my duties as a wife. It turned out that he knew better than anyone that causing trouble and chaos was her real forte. The guests around started whispering and gossiping, and the live stream exploded with comments. I stood there with my arms crossed, watching the chaos before me. Everyone jumping up as if they wanted to swallow me alive. Have you done enough? It's my turn to speak. Seeing that the nanny had safely taken the two babies away, I took the documents from the assistant and pulled out a few sheets of paper. Niam Bin, are you sure you want to do a DNA test? I shook the stack of papers in my hand. Then look at this first. 3 years ago, his mother made us go for a fertility check. The results showed that his sperm survival rate was less than 2%. The room suddenly became deathly silent. Niam Bin's face turned pale. His lips moved but he couldn't say anything. It was obvious that he didn't expect this matter to become public. That year, Niam's mother insisted that we give birth to a child for Mrs. Bong. The test results showed that he was infertile. I thought about his dignity, so I just told everyone that we were busy and didn't want to have children for the time being. Who would have thought that my mother-in-law would keep it in mind and pick a fight with me every day? Later, when we divorced, she was overjoyed, thinking she had finally gotten rid of a hen who couldn't lay eggs like me. Niam Bin trembled. You're talking nonsense. The actor put his arm around my shoulder and laughed coldly. What? Could it be that just walking around Tibet would cure infertility? The live stream immediately exploded. I was dying of laughter. It turned out that the clown was him. So the part about wanting a child was a daydream? Niam's mother always scolded the female lead for not knowing how to give birth. Is her face painful now? Niam Bin knew she didn't have a child, so he came back to steal the pair and give birth. Really shameless. Niam's mother's reaction was even more intense. She rushed forward to grab the report. No way. No, wait. Before, there was a girl who was clearly pregnant with my child, and my family even gave her $880 million for an abortion. I half smiled at her. The good news was that the girl was not pregnant. The bad news was that she had tricked them into taking their deposit for an apartment. The whole hall burst into laughter. Niam Bin's face turned red. He tried to snatch the documents back but was stopped by the injured actor. I raised the test results towards the camera. Actually, I didn't intend to make this public because it was related to my personal life. But things have come to this point, so I have no choice but to clarify everything. Please everyone, please look at it clearly. There are people who are incompetent and useless but always blame others. He said he was pursuing freedom, but he didn't have even the most basic sense of responsibility. Netizens immediately spammed the comments. Oh my God, he couldn't let it go and was even cheated out of his money. He was laughing so hard. I feel so sorry for the female lead. She was tortured by that mother and daughter for so many years. Who would have thought that the man was also unable to have children? Is the mother strict and demanding to have children? She advised her to go give birth at a temple because giving birth to twins at the hospital has nothing to do with her. The main point is not the children, but the female lead also hid the fact that her ex-husband was infertile. What the hell is this? Damn it, the guy above doesn't understand anything. This is called keeping evidence to slowly expose it. The female lead plays the monkey-raising game and then turns it off super cool. The moment the general protects his wife just now is so cool, I love it. Niam Bin's face was now even paler than the reflective color of his hiking jacket, begging the cameraman to zoom in. The glasses panned to Niam Bin's face. His face was almost pale, full of blue veins like a cow's skin, but he still tried to maintain the image of a lovesick ex-husband in the live stream, forcing a crooked smile. Guys, this is just a misunderstanding. Comments immediately poured in like rain. What misunderstanding? Misunderstanding that he was infertile, or misunderstanding that he was scammed out of nearly $1 billion by a mistress? Mr. Niam, transfer $100K first. I have an explanation for you. My mother has Alzheimer's and just escaped from a mental hospital. She misses her grandchild so much that she said she was sick. Suggest that after the live stream, General Niam should fly straight to Tibet to pray for love. One was sterile, one was a fraud, truly a match made in heaven. Mother Niam suddenly jumped up and pounced, her nails aimed straight at my face. Thuong Dien reached out and forced her face down onto the table, half of her face covered in cake and cream. She rolled on the ground like an upside-down fish. Niam Bin, why are you so useless? You can't even keep a daughter. And you're a mother without a grandchild to hold. I'm so miserable. Thuong Dien turned off the live stream with a cold face and nodded to the security guard. Please take all unrelated people out. Don't let my wife and children be affected. Niam Bin was still dragged away while cursing non-stop. But in the banquet hall, everyone had turned back to raise their glasses to celebrate. No one bothered to look at the man lying on the floor like a pitiful clown anymore. After that kissing incident, Niam Bin completely became a laughingstock on social media. Losing his job and income, he embraced the title of a lovesick ex-husband and continued to live-stream his misery. In the picture, he was wrapped in a faded coat, huddled in a corner covered in grease stains, his hair disheveled, his face smeared with dust, and he was calculating how to cry more realistically. Because as long as the audience believed that he was in love and miserable, the law of ATE would bloom and sales would increase again. He sobbed into the camera. Brothers, I am now on a plateau 5000 m high, with no food, no water, and only a heart that wants to hold on to my ex-wife. Suddenly, he picked up a bag of food, his voice full of determination. But even if I starve to death, I will bring dried yak meat to everyone. Today only 99k, free shipping nationwide. I looked at my phone frowning. Things have come to this point, but there are still people who believe in his role. The actor looked at me seriously, then laughed coldly. They didn't believe Niam Bin. They just believed the scenario of the infatuated ex-husband in their heads. He opened the drawer of the coffee table, took out his tablet, and typed quickly on the keyboard. But it's okay, let me help them wake up. I watched his fingers nimbly typing on the keyboard, remembering every time he stood up to protect me. He always looked like he didn't care about anything, but his eyes were always burning with the fire to protect his wife and children. I couldn't help but smile slightly. Very quickly, Thuong Dian's account appeared in Niam Bin's livestream. Niam Tong is really professional. This tent is still the wilderness survival model I sponsored for the program last year. But this is a bit strange. The GPS of this tent shows that the location is less than 3 kilometers from the milk tea shop in the city center. The show also includes a satellite map. The red on the screen clearly shows the coordinates of an abandoned factory on the outskirts of the city. The entire live stream room immediately exploded, the screen filled with comments. Laughing to death, the truth is revealed. The fake goods have appeared. The merchant gave the order. Mr. Niam, then besides your gender, is there anything else that is real? Niam Bin's face turned red. He was about to turn off the camera in a panic, but was already captured by sharp-eyed netizens with a series of revealing details. The public bicycle timecode was sticking out from the corner of the tent, and in the distance, a real estate project advertisement board was faintly visible. The show had absolutely no intention of letting him off easily. That night, the official account of the commercial group continuously posted 3 short satirical videos. General Manager Niam's new idea for selling goods. Live streaming to sell beef jerky in the middle of a construction site. In the video, Thuong Dian wears sunglasses, holding a tent similar to Niam Bin's proclamation, walking in the middle of the city's central pedestrian street. Behind him are models holding up signs. White letters on a red background are written. The tent is styled after a lovesick ex-husband. Only 19.9 yuan to take home. This trick immediately pushed the company's live stream channel to the top 3 on the entire platform. I looked at the data from the system and clicked my tongue in admiration. Mr. Thuong is truly a marketing genius. Mr. Thuong immediately threw all his responsibilities away like a big yellow dog and jumped into my arms. Heaven and earth, my wife, I am your witness. I don't care about money, I just find it annoying that he uses your past to sell for interactions. What man divorced and still clinging to my wife's fame? I can't stand it anymore. You have to be with me. If my wife still misunderstands me, I'll take the 2 kids to the living room and sleep on the floor. The 2 twins were lying on the play mat, rolling around laughing. The older brother was holding a toy microphone and crawling over, his voice imitating the actor's gestures. Bin Bin. Before he could finish his sentence, he threw himself into the actor's arms, making his younger sister laugh until her chubby cheeks turned red. Dad hit. Thuong Dian smiled brightly, hugged his 2 children, one on the left and one on the right, and kissed them continuously. Only the 2 treasures understood their father's heart the most. A year later, when I saw that news on social media, I was using a spoon to feed the 2 children pumpkin porridge. The older brother was smiling as he pounded the dining table, his face full of orange porridge, while the younger sister was holding a milk bottle and tilting her head to look at me, smiling. In the kitchen, the merchant was making coffee, the aroma wafting throughout the house. A tourist named Zhang Zeng had died from altitude sickness and lack of food while walking through the inhumane area. Thuong Dian came out with a cup of coffee, saw the news headline and immediately remembered you. Didn't he say during the live stream that the wind of the journey could change the soul? Now it really has changed to a no man's land. I swiped the screen, pulling up Niam Bin's last status line. In the photo, he was standing in the middle of the desert. His jacket had a big hole in it. His face was painted black to fake a sunburnt brown, and the people's cable was full of sad colors. Goodbye Sobo City, this time I really immerse myself in the sky, electricity, and all things. If anyone is kind enough, come on live stream and give me a rocket. I'll save up money to buy an oxygen tank. The actor remembered you looking closely at the screen. With that kind of attitude you dare to enter the inhuman area. His voice was full of sarcasm, but when he saw me pondering, he reached out and gently patted my head. Stop thinking about it. Let's eat. I turned off my phone, took out a wet towel to wipe my daughter's milky lips. She kept putting my hand in her mouth and nibbling it. Thuong Dien was coaxing his sulking brother, switching from pumpkin porridge to banana porridge. The boy immediately stopped crying and smiled again. The sunlight shone through the window, painting squares of yellow light on the floor. I suddenly remembered that winter night. The pipe in the basement broke. Dirty water flooded up to my ankles. Looking at the wet vase hugging me, I shivered. Looking at the house's foot and dreaming of a future home. Later, I had to live in a big house with a repair on the floor. The tiles had to be beige. Putting my feet down would be warm. There must be a large balcony, not a big garden, to look at the purple phoenix flowers you like. Then we will have a child, hopefully a girl like you. But when the company started making a profit, he used the money to buy imported climbing equipment. He said again, youth is limited, must live freely first. You don't understand, my journey is for the stars and the ocean. Lam Kin, can you stop being so vulgar? On the day of the divorce, he leaned against a parasol tree outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, smoking, looking at me with a bored look. Marriage is chains, I've had enough. A woman like you, all you think about is money and calculations. Do you know what life is? Do you know what freedom is? When he said those words, his ring finger was empty. Look at Thuong Dien, a smart guy like him, you think he will get married. Don't wait. At that time, Niam Bin probably didn't expect that later, I would be standing at the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau, receiving a cup of hot coffee that Thuong Dien gave me. And the person he once criticized for folding up the balcony then said, let's plant 2 trees, one that blooms early, one that blooms late, so you can enjoy the purple color for another month. I used to think that when he said that marriage was a bondage to freedom, it was because he had lost his way for a moment, so he gritted his teeth and endured, trying to hold on. Xiang Yan's phone rang. New news came in. Yen Ping's body was discovered by nomads in a deserted area, his hand tightly clutching a piece of beef jerky to his dead phone. In the comments below, someone guessed that perhaps he still hadn't given up on live streaming to receive DNRT until he died. Thuong Dien turned his phone face down on the table, put his hand over my shoulder, and held it lightly against my hair. What are you thinking? Nothing. I turned back to hug him, feeling strangely at peace. The older brother crawled on the dining chair, pulling Thuong Dien's lap with his arms. The younger sister called him Papa, her voice as sweet as candy. Thuong Dien smiled, picked up both children and made them giggle. The chubby little hands flapped wildly against his face. The wind from outside blew past, gently lifting the curtains, carrying with it the sound of summer cicadas. Thuong Dien pointed to the window. Honey, look, the purple poinciana flowers are blooming. The pale purple flowers reflect on my face, as gentle as a dream. The 2 children compete to reach out to catch the petals, their laughter as clear as silver worms. The wind carried the scent of royal poinciana flowers, mixed with the scent of lightly burnt coffee, and the sweet scent of baby milk, weaving together into a breath of everyday life that was more real than any promise. But Bean died on the way to freedom. His soul forever drifted without a trace in the forest. As for me, I have found true peace and freedom in this smoky world. That's the end of the story. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more interesting stories. Goodbye and see you again.